Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at Mutant Football League from Digital Dreams Entertainment. Now the game itself is currently in game preview on the Xbox. I don't know if that changes any of the gameplay or settings when compared to like the Steam version or anything like that. Now the biggest thing I've noticed that that means for the game is that you have no achievements at this time. Now you might be able to like earn some that will eventually become achievements, but currently there are none. Now, as you can see here, when playing the game, you can unlock basically packs of cards. And those packs basically give you new characters and new teammates and stuff for the different teams that you might play. And for those unfamiliar with the franchise as a whole, this is essentially a new title in the Mutant League franchise. Back in the day, we had Mutant League Football. I might be a Mandela effect, might not, but I distinctly remember there being a Mutant League Hockey, and then a third sport that I have no idea what it could be. There was also a cartoon or animated series based on it as well. And I just distinctly remember, them running down the football field and there being spikes and saw blades and things like that dismember and essentially defeat or kill some of the players. Now, I have not gone back to see if any of these things truly exist, but that's just what I remember from being a kid back in the day. But I can say with absolute certainty that there was a previous Mutant League Football, and because if you noticed on the title, this was listed as Mutant League Football 2. Now, here we're playing essentially a quick play skirmish mode, where we're playing the Carcass City Creeps and against the 40 Nightmares. And so obviously right there, I love the name schemes because they're taking actual real American football teams and then turning them into essentially horror themed puns. And most of the players look like zombies to begin with, some skeletons, things like that. And so it definitely just fits the overall vibe. And there are some traps, specifically some landmines that we have to try to avoid. I try to later on try to trick some of the other players into it. Now, after each pass or down or essentially each play, you have an opportunity there to weaken your opponents, and that's just by pummeling the crap out of them. Now, the gameplay itself looks exactly like I would imagine the Madden games playing, minus the blood and guts and bombs and things like that. With the way you're doing your plays and stuff. We've played Blood Bowl extensively and absolutely love the game. As a turn-based game, the plays make a lot of sense. And I've always had a hard time kind of wrapping my head around how games like Madden really play, where, you're calling out a play and then you're trying to execute it. Most of the symbols and diagrams and stuff make almost no sense to me. For each of the plays, I was always just hoping whichever one I picked worked, and more often than not, they did not. For somebody that has played the Madden games and stuff, this might be like the perfect divergence from that, where you're playing, just something absolutely batshit, but with those same kind of controls. Where myself, I honestly was expecting it to be a turn-based game, more like Blood Bowl, and that this was kind of a knockoff of that. And as you can see, I couldn't be further from the truth. And so I was quite surprised about that part. And I do like that they didn't try to emulate what Blood Bowl does. And my guess is probably because they also didn't want to get sued by Games Workshop. But the game itself, like, right here, we're kind of doing a passing game where we're also trying to take out as many of the opponents as possible at the same time. That was actually a lot of fun, and considering that the gameplay is not at all what I expected, it is more in line with what I expect games like Madden to be, as far as the controls and everything. I found it to be a bit disappointing. Initially when I first realized that it was not turn-based like I thought it would be, that was totally fine. Not upset by that at all. In fact, I was hoping that that would be the case. But going into this, after that fact, I was just hoping for something entirely unique. Not something that, looked and felt like the way I think Madden looks and feels like. Now, I have never played Madden. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not. Should be pretty obvious by this point because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, if you go into this, wanting a game that plays like Madden and wanting something more Halloween flavored, you're going to have a great time. Absolutely. But if you're going into it, wanting something like Blood Bowl or something entirely different, it's definitely not going to meet those expectations or hopes. Overall, though, if you're a fan of Madden and want something crazy, I think you'll love it. But for me, the mechanics aside, those I can kind of learn and become accustomed with and just get more used to. So I don't think they're a deal breaker. But with that in mind, I think that this could be a really fun and enjoyable experience, and a alternative for when you want to play a game similar to Blood Bowl in concept of Mayhem, but have it be entirely different gameplay. This will definitely be the way to go. Also, if you like collecting things, the card system in this is also another interesting factor for you as well. The only real complaint I have about this game is the lack of achievements. I'm hoping that when it gets out of preview that it adds those, but I've seen many games go through preview and never get them, so it could go either way. But I do hope that we do see them, because I think if the game is anything to go by, the fact that they have more or less Halloween parodies of real players and real teams and stuff, and a lot of them are funny as hell. I just imagine the achievements are going to be a lot of fun to earn, as well as laughing at the names for them too. So hope that's something we see, but based on experience with previous games in preview, I'm not going to hold my breath. But overall, it's definitely a fun ride and worth the play.